DCU Superman vs. DCEU Superman is not a close fight at all. A battle between the most recent Hollywood Superman, and boy is it heated. You would think planet Earth is on the verge of extinction with how angry Snyder and gun fans can get over this. Me, I just like Superman. So what happens when someone who likes both of them gives them a fair chance on seeing who wins? Is the biggest aura farmer second to Piccolo folding to punk rocker, or is the new Superman not as weak as people claim? Well, y'all know the drill. I'll go over their stats and their feats to determine a true winner. But before we do, make sure to hype, like, and subscribe for more Superman videos. I can't do it without you guys, and the support means a lot to me. Now, let's begin.
Hey, buddy. Eyes up here.
DCU Superman was straight fire. 6/7 out of 10. I loved it. Favorite movie of the year. Seen it 12 times in theaters. I'm genuinely not even joking. 12 times. And my boy David is up there with one of my favorite Superman interpretations. He was powerful enough to lift and shove over 8,000 tons, shatter water towers, catch falling skyscrapers, and do it all with 0 casualties. This is Superman. We established he can lift over 100,000 tons, and he's heroic, but that doesn't mean he's powerful. Well, some would argue differently. In a weakened state where he had 14 fractured bones and multiple damaged organs, he tanked falling into the ground at hypersonic speeds. If this were a city block, it'd be toast. And Superman wasn't hurt by that, but rather hurt by Ultraman. After he got a healthy dose of sunlight, he only shot up to 83% and lost again. Not his best stuff, but weirdly, the majority of his best stuff comes from when he was weak. In the Pocket universe, he was handicapped with protecting baby Joey, swimming through an anti-proton river, fighting raptors, and still recovering from kryptonite. And despite all of that, he had enough juice in him to blow himself and the gang away from a black hole. This scene was just so peak. The distance from the event horizon varies between the viewers, but using a moderate estimation, our guy Supes pulled off a feat that could batter mountains to large mountains. Just a reminder, he's weak in here, so claiming he's stronger than that is totally fair. But he can be argued significantly more powerful than this. In the same sequence, we got Metamorpho, a metahuman who can whip up miniature yellow stars, and when you calculate how much energy needed to do that, it could possibly be enough energy to wipe away a large country. Superman is repeatedly stated to be the LeBron James of all metahumans, so physically, he should be even more powerful, once again, in a weakened state. So if you hate him, he should at least be strong enough to withstand city block attacks. But based off of James Gunn's commentary, he could potentially withstand nukes.
Kill Superman, and it did seem to me that the way you would kill Superman was to fill his lungs. Eventually. How does he get, he doesn't have a superpower that allows him to push something out of his lungs. And so, in my many, many years of being my own little Lex Luthor and trying to think of how we could kill Superman, that's the way that I came up with it.
With Gunn saying it took him years to try and solve how to eliminate Superman, crazy how a nuclear bomb wasn't one of the first things to come up on his mind. So that might suggest DCU Supes could eat those like breakfast. But more reasonably, he's at least mountain level to upwards of having power to wipe out countries. We'll address this guy later. My boy ain't weak at all. And as for speed, with fractured bones and damaged organs, he flew from Metropolis to Antarctic in only a few minutes, which would mean he flies over Mach 400. That's 400 times faster than the speed of sound, gang. To make it even more impressive, he can zoom to the moon, bars, in less than an hour, and that could mean he's 700 times faster than the speed of sound. He can react to Ultraman's lasers on multiple occasions, which could mean he's relativistic to maybe light speed in his attacks and reactions. Supergirl traveled from multiple solar systems away from Earth while drunk, so maybe he's thousands of times faster than the speed of light. Superman has also traveled outside of Earth to other planets, possibly without a spacecraft. But let's not jump to Shark Gang. She might have used a spacecraft and so did he, so there's missing context. But we do know for certain he can travel hundreds of times faster than sound and can react to lasers. As for his abilities, he can blow away opponents like typhoons, fly, immense strength, solar absorption, intense heat resistance, resist antimatter, things that would normally tear apart standard organisms on a subatomic scale, and Supes is just bathing in it like it's a pool. What should be noted, however, is that Superman and the Raptors are basically non-affected by this river, yet later when Ultraman beams Supes and Supes beams the Raptors, there's clear damage. DCU Superman's heat vision might bypass durability and strike you anatomically. As for his skills, the crew claim he just throws haymakers and don't really know what he's doing in a fight. Son, how do you get your own movie wrong? DCU Superman is actually a really good fighter. He successfully kept the 300-foot kaiju from causing any calamities, able to protect a baby and fight off 3 combat-trained soldiers all at the same time, target weak joints on his enemies, take advantage of his environment, and he might take advantage of you in that environment. He fooled Ultraman and the Engineer into their nanite scheme, and even Lex Luthor, who has 2,500 moves from Superman memorized, yet Supes was still able to fold Ultraman in a few instances while Lex was controlling him. Ultraman also knows martial arts, and not only did Supes keep up with him, he beat him! You get what I'm saying here? He's not even close to being unskilled or lacking battle intelligence. DCEU Superman, you better lock in. You got a worthy opponent to deal with.
Well, I believe in truth, but I'm also a big fan of justice.
DCEU Superman is the symbol of hope in a lost universe, and respectfully, he's overhated. I mean, sure, he'll let you and your loved ones die for a fit pick, but can we at least agree that the picks are tough? You can even cry about your entire purpose in life being absolutely shattered, and he'll hit you with the Mog of Doom. Jokes aside, I think Snyder did a lot of things right with this Superman, and one of those things is his power level. From his first flight alone and absolutely fumbling his first flight, he already showed off town level feats, but obviously he can get much higher. He one-shotted the World Engine, a device being made to reshape planet Earth into Krypton. The device would be outputting enough energy to destroy multiple continents, and Superman wasn't only just tanking this energy, but also disrupted it. This would be consistent because later, he turned Steppenwolf into a straight cartoon, gave him a new fade and everything. Steppenwolf was able to fight the true doomsday of the DCEU and shattered Krypton's moon, which has some calculations of these two outputting continental energy in order to do that. But he can be argued even stronger. In the Justice League version, the best version of Henry Cavill Superman, and no, I am not trolling, he was outright stated to be stronger than a planet. And for the Snyder Cut, he was able to help destroy the Mother Boxes, which can destroy planets. In speed, he flew across multiple continents in a few seconds to minutes, and flew to space in a few seconds, which makes him far beyond the speed of sound, and maybe even sub-light speed. His reactions are stated to be just as fast, and his heat vision is confirmed light speed. He's extremely fast, only being beaten by DJ Khaled when he finds out McDonald's is 50% off. His abilities are very similar to David's Superman, except for a few things. But DCU Supes doesn't have those abilities, so it's not worth mentioning. But Henry Supes actually seems to utilize his freeze breath instead of just blowing. Pause! And in skill, he was able to keep up with and defeat military-trained Kryptonians who have been training in combat since birth. While yes, he was physically superior, they were still close enough to beat the lights out of him. So him keeping up at all is still very impressive. But alright, DCU Supes, you ain't too bad, but you might be a David victim. So let's determine who wins. Who wins between cinema's latest Superman? Wow. I'm not even gonna pretend like it's even a debate. Or a man annihilates DCU Supes. Guys, don't get me wrong. I like David's Superman more than Henry's, but this just ain't a competition. DCU Supes has impressive mountain to country level scaling, but DCEU Aura Man gets high multi-continental to even planetary stuff. He's also potentially faster if DCU Supes uses spacecrafts, so not only would he one-shot, but he speed blitzes. Aura Man takes this in game 5, no diff, and he'll ore farm on DCU Supes as it's happening. It's just not fair. But alright, let's address the elephant in the room, the Blue Beetle meta, where you can argue DCU Superman being a large planet to dwarf Starbuster. This argument also low-key applies to DCEU Supes as well, unless Blue Beetle's fully retconned from the DCEU, so if so, then David now obliterates Henry Superman, but if not, it'll obviously be a very close fight as they are on the same power level. But I might edge it to David again. He has that subatomic destructive heat vision that DCEU Supes might not be able to resist, and in combat, Henry's likely more skilled in hand-to-hand combat, but DCU is more creative and more battle intelligent. He'll pull a variety of tactics on Aura Man, and he'll use his environment to his advantage. As long as they're not in a populated city, because then DCU will care too much, and DCEU won't care at all. So I'll slightly give it to DCU Supes if they both have the Blue Beetle scaling. But James Gunn made it very clear his Supes isn't planetary yet, hopefully. And we're not sure at this point in time how much a Blue Beetle is canon to the DCU. So let's chill on the scaling until further notice. Otherwise, Aura Man dominates DCU Superman in nearly everything for now. And if we give DCU Supes the big stuff, he can likely pull off a W. But what do you guys think? Which Superman do you guys prefer? And who do you think wins? Be sure to let me know in the comments below. And with all of that said and done, I'll catch y'all later.